If you've missed any of the earlier episodes of the Great Tastes series and want to see the shows and get all the recipes, go to greattastesmb.ca. Watch them when you want to watch them.
Welcome back to Great Tastes of Manitoba, and it's a table for two here with Adriana Findlay from Manitoba Beef Producers. It's really a kind of recipe where you can show somebody how much you love them, because you can tell them later all the work that went into it and really kind of make them feel a bit guilty, because that, of course, is a very important part of love. Just kidding. Part two of Beef Wellington. So there's a couple of steps that go into this, right?
There's a couple. I wouldn't get overwhelmed by them, but breathe. Okay, we're gonna make the best dinner tonight.
The best
it's
dinner.
It's gonna be awesome.
Okay.
So remember we last were sauteing our mushrooms, our mushroom duxelle. So here it is. It's been dried out, like I was mentioning, getting the moisture out.
Yeah, you weren't kidding. Like, it's just like almost like a paste at this point.
Exactly. So what we're doing is we have a bed of prosciutto. So this is pork prosciutto, and it's probably one of my favorite deli items.
It's so delicate and yet so flavorful. Like, it's like paper thin, and yet there's so much going on there.
Exactly. And it adds kind of that salty element where you're kind of left thinking, what am I tasting?
What is that?
That's so good. So it really complements the beef tenderloin.
So you don't put it all over the whole thing?
So what we're doing is we're just doing a little bed for it, and then we're going to put our tenderloin in the center, and we're going to wrap it.
So do you want a piece of that?
Please, yes. So we have here our tenderloin that we seared earlier in the last segment, and we just brushed with some Dijon mustard.
How's that?
Perfect.
Okay.
So what we're going to do is kind of like a little package. This is a gift to your special someone.
Aww.
So just
Look
like
at
this.
that. That's very cool.
So it's important to use the saran wrap. The recipe will read that saran wrap is used. And that's basically what we do. We want to wrap our beef tenderloin, and then we want to grab all the edges here like this. And then we're going to just squeeze it and give it a good turn, just like this.
Okay.
So
it compacts it up really nice.
Yes. And so this would go into the fridge, and it would chill. You could, if you're doing this the night before, this recipe really lends itself to preparing ahead of time.
Okay, well that's great.
So that would chill. And then we're gonna move on to our puff pastry.
Okay.
So here I'm gonna take, we have one sheet of puff pastry, and I'm just going to, actually we should probably move our saran wrap to work with that. And we're going to use one sheet of puff pastry and just cut it in half. So
just get that.
It's a little warm,
yeah.
So it's kind of
it's a little bit sticky, but we get the idea, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
So, and not to fear, because this will go into the fridge and chill before you bake it off.
Okay.
Okay, so we have our puff pastry here, and that's a nice butter dough. And then we're going to unwrap our tenderloin that has the prosciutto and the mushroom duxelle.
And again, how long, like we've just done this to show, how long would that sit in the fridge?
You could put this in the fridge for 30 minutes. That would firm it up. You want to basically just get your prosciutto just hardened a bit. And you'll know the consistency right away. It's quite malleable at this time, just because everything's kind of come off the oven or the stove. But once it's cool, you just put it onto your puff pastry.
And away you go.
So we have this beautiful steak that is wrapped in the prosciutto. So the edges side up, and we're going to, again, use our saran wrap, and we're going to wrap it.
That is just the neatest trick.
So we're just gonna go like this.
Like, you really do make it look super. Would you like to just come over and make it for me?
Sure.
Could you do that?
Not a problem. So we're gonna use the saran wrap again, and we're going to hold it again, and we're just going to twist it. And again, that gets us really good shape for our beef Wellington. So that would go into the fridge. It would harden. If you're in a rush and you wanted to kind of get that in the freezer, that also works.
Could do that.
So this would then get taken out of the freezer. You would score it with a knife, do a little egg wash, and it would go into your oven at 400 Fahrenheit for about 20 minutes, and that would get it medium rare.
The cooking time and the chilling time really isn't that long, but such care going into beef Wellington. It's really, really beautiful. It's cool. It's a very
Yeah.
cool process. All right, are we going to be loving up on Ben's choices when he comes back here with beverage pairings on Great Tastes of Manitoba?
You're watching Great Tastes of Manitoba, brought to you in part by foodManitoba.ca. Local farms, local foods.